Good morning, guys. So yesterday we had discussed performance testing life cycle, right? So let me go to that slide. So I had reframed that slide, guys. So I had divided that into different phases. Okay. So first one is discovery and planning phase, where where this RFI, RFP, requirement gathering, proof of concept, effort estimates, and preparing a test plan that will be done in the discovery and planning phase. Okay. And next one is scripting phase, in which you develop all the scripts and script review and all will be done. And then test execution and reporting phase. Right. So this can be breakdown into like three phases. Setting up the test environment. So under test execution phase, you will set up the test environment, do smoke or sanity, test executions, reporting, etc. Test results analysis, validation of application tuning, again final report and sign off. So this will come under test execution and reporting phase. And I'll also share this training handouts to you today. So we have some training handouts that I need to share. So I'll share these training handouts to you today after the session. Okay, I'll share this. For now, I'll share test plan and requirement gathering document. All right. Now let's move on to the next slide. So shall we? Yeah. So let us discuss this, requirement gathering. Yesterday we discussed it, right? So the first phase where, most of the team members will be involved is requirement gathering phase. Now, what requirements we collect and how do we collect? First of all, how do we collect means we prepare a document, Word document like this, and we'll share it to our client. And we will ask the client to fill this information or to provide this to answer to this non-functional requirement gathering document. Okay. So what are those non-functional requirements, that we need to collect from the client is? So NFR can be broadly classified into three categories. So general, architectural, and business requirements. One of the important interview question is, can you explain NFR gathering? Oh, so they will ask like, can you explain performance testing life cycle? Okay. So once you answer that, what is performance testing life cycle? So you will tell requirement gathering, RFP, and requirement gathering, scripting, test plan, and then scripting. Once we get the test plan approval, we start with scripting, script review, executions, reporting, right? Then they will ask immediate question will be, can you explain what all requirements you collect from the client, right? So NFR, non-functional requirements can be broadly classified into three categories. One is general and architectural and business. And business requirements. Okay. Right. So now these general requirements means what are the general requirements? Let us understand that. The first and foremost one in the general requirements is timelines. When should we start the project? By when should we complete the project? So that is the first and foremost one. What is the current project timeline to begin and close testing activities? That is starting and completion date. And then next one is the application functionality stable and its functional testing is completed. So that is the next requirement. So because like if you want to do performance testing, first of all, the application functionality should be working fine, isn't it? So without functional testing or without functional stability, there is no point in doing performance testing, isn't it? And next, what are the URL and credentials of the application? Access credentials, URL and access credentials of the application, right? And then any preference on performance tools. Any preference on performance tools? Do we are asking the client if they prefer any performance testing tools like LoadRunner or JMeter or can we suggest? Okay. And then what type of performance testing should be performed? Right. Again, we are the right persons to decide this actually, but that will be part of NFR gathering document also. Okay. That will be one of the questions in the performance testing document. And next, next one is, we have observed in some cases firewall affects the results in load testing. Do we need to get firewall clearance before starting load testing? Now, what is a firewall? I think we already discussed it, right? In the fundamentals concepts. What is a firewall? What is a Windows firewall, guys?
Used to protect our system programs from malware programs which was connected to the internet.
Right. So firewall, provides some basic protection to your computer, right? So if you type firewall.cpl, right, you'll go to firewall control panel, and there you can see the description. You show one liner, right? You see here, Windows Defender Firewall can help prevent hackers or malicious software from gaining access to your PC through the internet. So even server also will be having a firewall. And if you want to do load testing, right, we need to get that firewall clearance. If you want to do load testing, we'll discuss that later. You'll understand once we go to scripting, you'll understand that. Okay. So we are asking here, see, you simply share this Word document. You simply share this Word document, and if client has any queries, he will schedule a call. He will ask you to schedule a call, or he will schedule a call and he will ask, his queries. Understood, guys? You need to simply share this Word document to the client and ask this, respond to these queries. If they have any doubt, obviously they will schedule a call and they will come back to you. Your team lead and project leader will take care of that. And next, what are the goals of performance testing activity? Why are we doing performance testing? And what will be the acceptance criteria for each performance test? So we are going to do different types of testing, right? Load testing, soap testing, and all. And what will be the acceptance criteria? Means when will we say that a test is pass, or when it fails? Okay. When do we conclude that it is a successful test or a failed test? For example, so if all what is the acceptance criteria for the performance application means? I think we already discussed the acceptance criteria also, isn't it? And I gave some examples as well, right? You remember, like we discussed about now this one acceptance criteria when we discussed performance, performance criteria or acceptance criteria, both are same, because we are discussing in performance testing context. Performance acceptance criteria will be something like this. Response time should be within 3 to 5 seconds. Application should take should support lakhs of concurrent users. Our error rate should not be less than 1%. So we are asking the client, what is your application's performance acceptance criteria? What is your application's acceptance criteria? Okay. So one example is all user transactions should pass with response times not more than 5 seconds. And these are just examples. These numbers may change. It can be 4 seconds, or it can be 3 seconds, or it can be 8 seconds. It depends on the application. And next one is at least 95% of the user transactions should be successfully completed. These are just some examples. Now we are asking the client, what is the acceptance criteria for your application? Clear this? So these all come under general requirements. Now next category is architectural requirements. In architectural requirements, we are asking the client what type of application it is, whether it is a web-based application or a mobile app or a client server, right? What kind of application means whether it is a, do you have Ramya today? Did Ramya join? Yeah, I can see her. Okay. What type of application it is, whether it is a web-based application or a mobile app or a client server application. Surendra, how about Surendra? Surendra did not join today.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Right. Right. Understood, guys. So we are asking what type of application is that, that we are going to test. What it is? Is it a web-based application or a mobile app or a client server application? Sometimes what happens is, suppose, we recently got one project where we need to do both GUI testing as well as mobile app also. We have to do performance testing for both mobile application as well as web application as well. Right? So that can be another case. And then in which technology or platform the application is developed, whether it is a Java application or a .NET application or a SAP application, right? In which technology or platform the application is developed, whether it is a J2EE means Java application case. Okay, wait, I'll modify it as Java. It will be more clear, right? So whether it is a Java application or a .NET application or a PHP or SAP or any other application, right? Which one, the application that we are going to test? We are asking details of that application that we are going to test. And why do we require this information? Why do we need this information is, suppose for example, if the application is a SAP GUI application, okay. If the application is a SAP GUI application, you know what is a SAP GUI application? Any one of you?
Graphical user interface.
What is that?
Graphical user interface.
GUI stands for graphical user interface. So, SAP apps, SAP labs, right? SAP labs enter usually. They pronounce it as SAP labs, but it should be read as SAP labs. Yes or no? So it is what kind of software is that, guys? SAP?
Accounts, payroll,
Uh-huh.
accounts.
Not accounts. It's not about accounts. It's a ERP product. Okay. ERP product, where ERP stands for Enterprise
Resource planning.
Enterprise Resource Planning. And SAP is one of the costliest ERP product, right? Only larger clients like Maruti or 3M, right? So those kind of companies, Dell or HP, though only those kind of companies can afford their license cost. That is one of the costliest software. SAP is one of the costliest software, and packages also will be one of like that only. Okay. When I worked for fortunately I got a chance to work for SAP Labs for 2 years, and what all benefits they provide in the organization. So every day breakfast free, morning breakfast free, and you'll have 3 to 4 kind of breakfast, right? And then lunch free. You will have a free lunch, and it will be like restaurant meals every day. Like it used to be like restaurant meals. And initial, when they select the caterer also, what they do is, okay, 3 4 caterers ni select chesi, they will ask, to give trial for 1 week. 1 week, they have to do catering, right? They will select, they will shortlist 3 to 4 caterers, and they will ask to provide catering for 1 week each first, and then they will take feedback from the employees, and then whoever got highest feedback or good feedback will be selected. Understood, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And every day it will be like restaurant kind of meals. Okay, seriously. And then by 4 o'clock you'll have fruits. They will give you fruits and like not guava or banana. They'll give you apple, pears, those kind of fruits by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock they used to give 4 o'clock, distribute fruits by 4 o'clock. And then again evening snacks free from 6:30 p.m. onwards. You will have free snacks, and then dinner also free. Those who are staying in office can have free dinner. Okay, so this is only one part of thing. Every quarter you will have some gifts. Whenever they announce their results, they used to give some gifts to all the employees. Every employee. Okay, and they will give medical reimbursement every year. Even if you go for a doctor consultation, or usually doctor consultation and all will not be covered in health insurance, right? Doctor consultation and lab reports, they will not be covered under health insurance if you have any health insurance. But they will pay for that. They will pay for those bills. Even if you want to change your spectacles, they will do reimbursement for that as well. I mean, you can claim those bills up to 30,000 per employee per year. Per year, 30,000 medical reimbursements. And one important thing is, there will not be much work pressure also. They will not give you deadlines that you have to complete this work by today, or you have to complete this work by tomorrow. There won't be such deadlines like in service-based companies. Okay. So workload will be normal, right? Not in every product-based company, by the way. SAP Labs is one of the wonderful product-based companies, because their clients are also rich. They also give those benefits to the employees as well. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right? Most of the product-based companies, work culture will be like this. Even in Google, you will have everything free, free lunch, free dinner, free snacks, breakfast free, and they will keep free dry fruits in the office. Google. I had personally visited Google. My brother worked for Google for a couple of years. Right now, he's working for Meta. One of my my younger brother. My younger brother is from. I'll show you. I'll quickly show you that. He's an MTech graduate from IIT Kanpur, and he's in US now. So he's working. He worked for Google previously, and he took us all the family to his office, and we around 10 to 15 people went to their office. And they will allow you once in a year, something like that. You can get your family, all your family members to the office, right? So there we got to know. We had a lunch, and they're giving dry fruits. They kept bottles. There'll be no one there, so you can grab as much as you want. Okay. So this is my younger brother. So he's working for Meta now. Previously worked for Google and Microsoft, Amazon, and all top tier companies. Okay. So in all these, he mostly worked in product-based companies. In all product-based companies, you will have all these benefits. Most of the product-based companies, you will have a lot of employee benefits other than salary, other than good package. I think we already discussed about package also, isn't it? Product-based companies are paymasters. Most of the product-based companies will be paymasters. Paymasters means they'll give you more salary than service-based companies, right? Not only that, there will be a lot of employee benefits, free cab facility. They will provide free cab facility. SAP Labs also used to have free cab facility. Got it? Yes. So target to get, if you start your career with a product-based company, it will be wonderful. Your career will be wonderful throughout your career, the complete career. Okay. But you have to do your hard work, and you have to keep more efforts. Interviews also will be slightly tough than service-based companies. Okay. So what are we discussing? Yeah. Right. And which database, the next requirement is which database is used for this application to test? What is the underlying database, right? Whether it is Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server, etc. And which application server is running with the system, right? We discussed about, architecture, right? Yesterday we discussed about architecture, where we discussed about web server, app server. There are different types of servers called web app and DB servers, isn't it? So we are asking the architecture of that. Under architectural requirements, we are asking what is the application architecture, right? And then what is the communication protocol? What is the communication protocol between browser and the server? If it is a web-based application, what is the communication protocol of the application, right? This is another important, very important requirement. Okay. Whether it is HTTP or HTTPS or TCP or FTP or Citrix. Now, what is meant by a protocol? So how many of you want to get into a product-based company after hearing this? Anyone? Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Request, sir, means HTTP protocols.
Yeah, I'll explain what is a protocol. So protocol means, what is a protocol means? Communication language between browser and client and the server. Client and the server. Or it is a set of rules for communication. You can call it as communication language or set of rules for communication between client and the server. I'll do one thing. I'll set of rules for communication between client and the server, right? So let me explain what is that set of rules, right? Or how to check the protocol. Suppose if you go to Amazon, type amazon.in, right? And if you copy the URL, do Control C, right? And pasting it here. So you can see that protocol. See here, observe here. HTTPS is the protocol for Amazon. Most of the applications, it will be HTTPS only. And observe here, previously you used to see a padlock symbol. You remember that? Previously you used to see a padlock symbol here. If you click on that, click on that icon, you see here connection is secure, and you see that padlock symbol. This is called as padlock. So what does that mean? Padlock means or what is HTTP and what is HTTPS. So let us understand that. So HTTP stands for, most of you know that. What is HTTP? What does HTTP stand for?
Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Hypertext Transfer Protocol, right? So this is not a secured one. If any website is using HTTP, that is not a secured website. You are not supposed to enter any credit card or debit card details on such websites, on HTTP websites. Whereas HTTPS stands for
Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure.
secured, right? That additional S stands for secured. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Or how is that secure? How is that,
By encrypting.
Yes, correct. You are correct. Can you repeat it?
By encrypting the data, it secures.
Exactly. Right. So there is a concept called encryption and decryption. So what is meant by encryption and decryption? So what is meant by, let us understand what is meant by encryption and decryption. Suppose you are you want to buy a product on Amazon, and you add to cart and then you are making a payment. Let's assume that you are making a payment and there you will be entering your debit card or credit card details or your net banking credentials, isn't it? You'll be entering your debit card details or credit card details or your net banking details, right? Now, so this data, this is a confidential data, isn't it? This is a secured or confidential data, isn't it? Now, all these websites which are marked as secure, right? Where you see that padlock symbol, what they do is they will, once you enter suppose you are entering your debit card number or your net banking credentials, that their data will be converted into, that plain text will be converted into cipher text. Okay. What is encryption? If you Google search what is encryption, right, and decryption, let us So what is encryption means? Encryption is the process of transforming the information in a way that ideally only authorized parties can decode. Only authorized parties can decode. Or else it is the encryption and decryption is the process of converting the plain text into cipher text is called as encryption, right? Readable message is converted to an unreadable form to prevent unauthorized parties from reading it. And now once your credentials goes to the server, your server will be able to decrypt that. It will convert that encrypted message back to its original or readable format, right? The original message is called as plain text message and the encrypted message is called as cipher text message. Clear, guys? This is called as cipher text message, or else I'll search for some ordinary message. Plain text meaningless. Yeah, I think this is slightly easy to understand. Let me write it in your, let me copy it down to your class notes, right? So encryption is the process of transforming an ordinary message or plain text into a meaningless message or cipher text. Decryption is the process of transforming a cipher text into its original form, right? So this is, so that is how like your information is protected, from hackers and, hackers, or any other, malicious software to capture it, right? So all these, here guys, what is encryption and what is decryption?
Yes.
So that is how, this HTTPS is, I'm sorry, HTTPS is secured. That is how that HTTPS protocol is secured, right? Now, is it clear, guys, what is protocol and what is HTTPS? You see a padlock symbol which indicates that, the website is secure. Okay. You can open in any browser, let me show in Edge browser. So if you go to Amazon or here, right? See here, the Edge browser is displaying a padlock symbol, isn't it? This is called as padlock. Okay, which I wrote here. Here it is. What is the purpose of padlock symbol? Hmm? Padlock symbol indicates that that website is a secure website, isn't it? It indicates that the website is a secured website. Okay, so that anyone can understand that this is a secure website on seeing that padlock symbol. See, people may not be knowing, some people may not be knowing what is HTTPS, but if they see that padlock symbol, they will understand that it is a secured website. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
All right. And what is that? Yeah. What is we need to ask, what is the communication protocol? Another reason why this is important is some protocols are not supported by some tools. For example, SAP GUI protocol, for example, SAP, if your application is a SAP GUI application, okay, this is not supported by, not supported by JMeter. You cannot do performance testing the SAP GUI application with JMeter. Okay, with JMeter, which is a free tool. Now, then how to do performance testing for SAP GUI, right? So we need to go for, licensed tools like LoadRunner or NeoLoad. We need to go for other tools that, which support SAP GUI protocol. So this requirement is very important. One of the important requirements. Guys, why are we spending this much time is like, this will be one of the first 10 questions in your interview. One of the first 5 or 10 questions in the interview, and very important interview question. And you should be able to tell at least 10 requirements. Okay. I'll explain almost 35 requirements, 35 NFR gathering, NFR concepts or questions. Okay. And around 35. You need to tell in the interview, you need to remember and tell in the interview at least 10 out of those 35 in those 3 categories. Right? And this will be one of the first 5 questions or one of the first 10 questions. So there is a saying, right? First impression is the best impression. So like if you get good impression here, that impression will be carry forwarded throughout the interview. Okay. So any encryption, next question is any encryption used for sending and receiving request or response, right? And then any captcha used in any of the in-scope business flows. Everyone knows what is a captcha, right? What is a captcha? Everyone knows, right? Or don't know? If you go to SBI net banking application or HDFC bank, let me show you what are those captchas. So if you go to login page of SBI, online SBI, you have a captcha here, isn't it? And it is an image captcha. By default, image captcha will be there.
Yes, yes.
Right? So now we cannot handle this captcha, and this captcha changes every time, isn't it? And we cannot handle captchas with the scripts. We cannot handle captchas with the scripts. So we need to ask if there is any captcha used in the in-scope business flows. If there is any captcha in the scripts that we need to cover, right? We need to get it disabled or removed or made static in the test environment. Okay, we need to get it disabled or removed completely, or ask the developers to make it as static. Okay, because we cannot handle that with the scripts. You'll understand once we start scripting, you'll understand what is meant by handling, why should we bother about this and that. But usually captchas will be image captchas. Okay, whether it is SBI net banking or HDFC net banking. Once you enter, your user ID, you'll get that captcha on HDFC. Okay. Okay. See, this is the secure mechanism used by HDFC website. Understood, guys? So we cannot handle these captchas, or you will have it in IRCTC website also, I think, isn't it? Do you have it on IRCTC? Anyone using IRCTC or no? No one is traveling by trains now.
No, sir.
What happened to IRCTC? Let me try in some other browser. Maybe a browser issue. Right. So here also you have some capture, right? If you log in, you will have that at the login step. If you click on login, see, observe there. This is a image capture. Understood, guys? You see the capture over here, and we are supposed to enter that capture here. And this, if there is any capture, right? So we need to ask the client to make it static, and it changes every time. Every time it changes. So we need to ask the client to make it static or disable it or remove it. Okay. We will understand, once we start scripting, you will understand why. What is the reason for that? Okay. So, but in the requirement gathering, you are asking like, if there is any captchas used in the scripting that we need to cover. And next, what does the target system look like? We'll discuss this LAN, WAN, and terminal service and all other details later on. And next important question is one of the important one of the important architectural NFR is, are there any known performance issues in the application? Right? So if there are any known performance issues, understood, guys? So this is one of the important, architectural requirements. Okay, what are some known performance issues? Memory leaks, high CPU and memory utilization, unexpected growth in daily visitors, more response time, which leads to timeout error. These are some examples. Okay, so suppose you are not feeling well and you go to a hospital. So doctor will ask you like, what is your problem, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
First he will ask you what is, why did you come for, or what is your problem, right? So similarly here also, we are asking like if there are any known performance issues in the application, already identified issues. Okay. And then next architectural requirement is, do you have any traffic monitoring tool deployed on the web server? Do you have any traffic monitoring tool? What is meant by traffic monitoring tool? Traffic monitoring means not, not or road traffic. It is, website traffic. Here, traffic monitoring tool means website traffic. What is this traffic monitoring tool? I think yesterday I had shown some GHMC website, right? Did I show this in your batch?
Yes.
So if you go to GHMC website, go to property tax page, right? So go to property tax page, like it will show like how many users are visiting the website. Yesterday I saw 41 users, guys. Yesterday evening when I checked that website, it is having 41,000 users. Now it is 22,000 only, right? So most of the people will be using after coming from office, right? That is what my understanding is. And if they want to pay any property tax or something, they will be using this website after their office time, right? So this is, see, this information is, how do we get this information, or how does GHMC website know this information is, they are using some traffic monitoring website, a traffic monitoring tool, traffic monitoring tool like Google Analytics or something, or New Relic or Google Analytics. Google Analytics is very popular. Okay. So we are asking, if there is any Google traffic monitoring tool like this deployed on the web server, because, this will give you the information like how many users are using that application, right? And for a web application, is there any dependency on the client browser version? See, for example, some websites display this message saying that this application works best with Chrome. Did you read that anytime? Did you read that anytime? Some websites display a message saying that this website works best on Chrome browser or Edge browser. Did you see that or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we are asking, so now, we have to do scripting with that browser if there is any dependency like that, right? And then next important NFR is architectural requirement is, will you provide a separate test environment to do a performance test run? Okay. Do you have a separate test environment to do a performance testing, right? Ideally, we will have a separate environment for doing performance testing. A performance testing team will have a separate environment. No one else will be using that environment. And that environment should be separate and identical to production. Identical to production. What does that mean? Suppose this is your production environment. Me production environment lo 3 web servers, 4 application servers, 3 database servers ఉన్నాయనుకోండి. your test environment also will be having same number of web servers, same number of app servers, same number of database servers, same load balancer algorithm, same software settings, etc. So that is meant by identical to production. That is the meaning of identical to production environment. Understood or no? Then only we will get accurate results. See, we cannot do testing on production environment. Production environment lo performance testing cheyalem, because when you are doing performance testing, suppose you are doing stress testing, you'll do the testing till your application breaks, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So now if your application breaks, if you are doing testing in production and if your application breaks, end users will be impacted, right? Real users will be impacted, isn't it? So we will not do testing in performance testing in the production environment. We will be doing it in a dedicated environment called test environment. Okay. మీరు అడగొచ్చు like night time users ఉంటారు కదా అప్పుడు చేయొచ్చు కదా, right? Anyone got that query? A doubt వచ్చిందా? Anyone got that doubt? During night time in the production environment there will be less number of users, right? Midnight చేసాం అనుకో, like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, early morning, or 1 o'clock in the morning. No one will be using, most of the users will not be using during that time. Production environment will not be used at that time, isn't it? Can't we do that in the night time, off peak load time? In the production environment, see, for example, if you want to do IRCDC, if you want to do performance testing for SBI net banking, no one will be using midnight, or very less number of users will be using midnight, isn't it? Now can't we do performance testing during that time if you don't want to disturb the real users? Anyone got this doubt or no? Okay, we'll discuss that later. Okay, yes, is it difficult to understand? Are these difficult to understand? You are so silent. Able to follow or no?
Sir, following.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in interviews they will ask you, if the interviewer asks you, why do we need a separate test environment? Why not, why can't we do it in the midnight in production environment? So you should be able to answer that, isn't it? Particularly those who are keeping experience, you should be able to answer such questions. Okay, interviewer can ask anything. Right. So we are not supposed to do testing in the production environment because in the production environment, the data will be confidential. Real-time username and passwords will be there in the database, isn't it? So if at all you want to do in production environment, you will switch the database. And a production database kakunda, we'll have a test database. We have to attach the application to test database and then we can do in production. Understood or no? If at all we want to do in production. See, suppose some clients, what they say is, we don't have a dedicated environment because dedicated environment, but it costs in crores, costs in lakhs and crores. What is meant by the environment, by the way? What is meant by environment here?
Where we are doing testing.
Right. So where we are doing testing, right? So basically environment means, one computer or a group of computer, one or more than one computer, more than one machine or computer on which your application is running, That is called as an environment. Guys, you should ask me questions, right, guys? So most of you are not responding. So if you are like this, it will not work out. You have to speak out in the training. So if you are not speaking in the training itself, you can't open your mouth in the meetings once you get into some job or if you are already working, right? And if you are not speaking or if you are not asking any valid questions in the meetings, definitely that people will think that you don't know anything. Yes or no? Or you are not listening to them. If you don't listen to them properly also, you will not be able to ask any questions. Yes or no? So you should be interactive and you should be proactive in the training, at least. If you are not proactive in the training itself, you will not be able to succeed in your job, right? Particularly those who want to keep experience, right? Satish, and all others who want to keep experience, Ravan, Satish, right? Pressures, that is fine. If you understand the concept, that is enough, right? But how much you are understanding, you'll get to know in the weekly test. This weekend, I am going to give you, this weekend or mid of next week, I'll give you week 1 assessment. Okay. So by the time we'll start our, hopefully we'll be starting our offline training also. And last time, I had conducted one monthly test also last time. Let me show you those results. So most of the people, online test lo andarki everyone got 90%, 80%. But in the offline test, when I conducted an offline test, most of them got 70 to 80% only. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
So those who are coming for offline training, so they will have some additional monthly test. Online, everyone who is joining online also will have a weekly online test. That will be an online test. But those who are coming for offline, they will have some additional activities like this. So I'll show you this document. See, this is a monthly MRT, means monthly retention test for July 2024. We conducted on. This was conducted in July, last week, 2 weeks before. Okay. And when we asked these questions, right? So I think need to check. Hold on. So this is not, secure network. This one is this. So we conducted one monthly test like this. Monthly test, and most of the people, I think someone, filled it and shared it to me. This is that document. I'll show you the question paper alone. Someone shared, someone filled that.
How to check the IP address in Linux?
How to check IP address in
Linux.
Linux?
Yeah.
You have to use a command called ifconfig. In Windows, we use ipconfig, right?
Yeah.
In Linux, we use ifconfig.
Okay.
Ifconfig. If you simply use ifconfig, it will give you that IP address in Linux. Okay. So when we conduct this, unable to find that document, guys. Where did I keep it? Okay, I'll show that tomorrow. So when we conduct, written test, right? So most of the people are failing to answer. But if you conduct online test, they're getting 80%, 90%. That means, what does that mean?
Copy.
They're referring to the material and answering that, right? But that is of no use, right? So we conduct exams to give, assess ourselves, isn't it? Or we attend exams to assess ourselves. If you are copying and doing that, that doesn't make any sense, isn't it? Could not. I'll find it and I'll try to show that tomorrow. Okay. So I should be having the scanned copies. Actually, I had scanned them and I had stored them. So I'll show that tomorrow. And please be interactive. Again and again, I'm telling, this morning session gavati fresh up I join only. Don't join without brushing your teeth, or without having breakfast, and without having your bath. Right? That is what I mean to say. Fresh up and join means. Please have a bath and then join, so that you will be focused and you'll be able to pay more attention. Agree?
Agreed, sir.
So then only you can make best use of this training. Otherwise, 3 months will go waste if you are not, if you are not doing your homework properly, or if you are not focusing properly. All these 3 months of training will go waste. Okay. And yeah, next one. So are there any specific requirements for the input data? Means data validation, data uniqueness. See, for example, in some applications, suppose if you are testing, Amazon kind of application, you have to cover, order placement, isn't it? If you want to cover order placement script, you need some payment, right? You have to do some payment, right? And you have to enter to make some payment, you have to enter some credit card or debit card number, isn't it? Now client will provide some dummy credit card number base. Okay, you are supposed to use that one only. Client will provide some dummy credit card number, and when you are in your scripts, you are supposed to use that. Got it? You're supposed to use that credit card number in the scripting. Now, when you use that credit card number, it will have some expiry date, right? You have to look into that expiry date, whether the data, I mean, the test data, if there is any expiry date for the test data, etc. Right? And then how do they access the application? How do they access the application? Means whether it is, whether it is a browser-based application or whether the users access through a web browser or a mobile browser. Some users may be accessing a web browser and some users may be using mobile browser. So we need to simulate that also, that kind of scenario also, right? So these are all architectural requirements. So we are done with the architectural requirements, and tomorrow we'll continue with the business requirements, guys. Okay. So let me update the batch tracker sheet. We have started, what concept are we discussing now, guys?
NFR requirements gathering.
Non-functional requirements, isn't it? NFR, non-functional, where NFR stands for non-functional requirements. And those NFR can be broadly classified into 3 categories. What are those?
Architecture and business flow.
What is it?
Architecture.
General and architectural. And RCHI, architectural and business requirements. Okay. So general architectural are done, and tomorrow we will discuss business requirements. Freshers also, I am saying that, focus on the subject properly and do your homework. You will get at least 5 lakhs package in performance testing as a fresher. Okay. Performance testing has that much good demand in and that much packages. You will get minimum 5 lakhs package if you do very well in the interview. Okay. Starting package itself will be 5 lakhs for freshers in performance testing. Or performance testing or security testing, right? These are all niche skill areas. You'll have very less competition. Competition is very less. Okay. So that is why, if there is an interview, if there is an opening, hardly you'll get 5 people. Competition will be in 1:5, in the ratio of 1:5 only. Whether it is freshers or experienced in performance testing, particularly. If there is one opening, hardly, 5 people will come. Understood, guys? Whereas in automation testing or manual testing, you can't even imagine there will be 1:100 or 1:200. Competition will be like that. If it is automation testing or manual testing, competition will be like 1:50 minimum 1:50 or 1:100 or 1:200 also. Competition will be very high in what manual or automation testing. Okay, and good that you have selected wonderful career. So make use of that and training properly and be interactive. I want everyone to ask some queries and speak out. Right? Do one thing. So please be prepared to turn on your camera from tomorrow onwards. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Until we start the classroom trainings. I know some people are waiting for classroom training. Surendra and Arshad. So Arshad, are you looking for classroom or online? Do you want to come for classroom or online?
I want to come to classroom.
Classroom. Okay. Arshad and Ramya also will be coming for offline, right?
Yes, sir.
Sanjeev, Surendra, and Sanjeev also, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll conduct a poll in the WhatsApp. Please respond. Okay. Who all want to come for offline? I just want to know the head count. Okay. I'll conduct a poll in the WhatsApp group. So please respond. Please respond to that. Right? Prasanna joined, but she got disconnected. All right, then we'll close it here, guys, for today. We'll continue tomorrow. Let me pause recording.